Hello, Seiiti Arata. When we send an instant message to a group of friends or family, when we make a call, or even when we come face to face with someone, there is an exchange of information. Happens? But this doesn't mean that there is true communication, a good conversation. What is good conversation? It is when the participants of a conversation go away feeling better than when they arrived. A valuable exchange has happened, a genuine, sometimes profound interaction. We reveal our best side and we show it to the other person, and we hope that they too will do the same. It is when we are authentic, we stay respectful, and we appreciate the diversity of every opinion. So then you can see how a good conversation goes way beyond that of a simple exchange of information. These are just some ideas for us to begin with. At the end of the day, the only person who can define what a good conversation is for you is yourself. So stop for a moment. Remember a good conversation you've had in some moment in your life. What were the elements and the components that allow you to say that that was a good conversation? What happened? And what didn't happen? It is very common for us to hear stories of those who complain of low-quality conversations, superficial, predictable interactions in which sometimes they report to cause anxiety, annoying interactions. We are creating isolating bubbles. We are living in an age that is very dangerous for our happiness and for our relationships. In the book, The Lost Art of Good Conversation, we hear about a wise man that alerts us about a sad future where there is an erosion of human consciousness. In this scenario, a good education, good conversations, they disappear. Instead of constructing a society around dignified principles, we end up isolating ourselves in bubbles, and we are constantly distracted by electronic gadgets and our possessions. And this distraction separates us from true happiness. On the one hand, you see a growth of intolerance and extremism, and at the same time we stop cultivating those healthy relationships. We start to accept the lack of good conversations as the new normal. Pressure ruins good quality conversation. Lack of patience and a constant search for more and more speed cause us to have more trouble to express ourselves. What we want is to listen with calm. Just allow the other person to finish their own thoughts, and then you can speak your sentences in a way that makes sense. You speak with clarity, you breathe when you need to, you maintain a posture, you maintain respect. Now, how is that you're going to reflect? The first thing to do is to practice empathy before you react. So you have to want truly to understand the cause of the other person's emotions. You put yourself in their place, and also you can ask questions. When we reflect about all these things before speaking, that is when what we say has much more power. After all, what we will say, it will be a message that comes delivered with the empowerment of intention. When you're locked into some type of a toxic conversation, some cruel, ironic, abusive interaction, please pay attention to the speed, to the velocity in which this conversation, this interaction is happening. Lots of speed, lot of pressure causes anxiety, lack of reflection, and therefore negative language. Let's talk now about the rage and hate through social media. Take a look at how easy it is for us to be projecting our anger, our rage in messages of hate through social media. In a certain way, the interaction mediated through a computer transforms us into some sort of a character. That offensive comment that we make through social media would hardly happen if we would be, interacting face to face, having coffee with that person. Be careful with attachment. There is this very deep human need to find coherence in everything that we do, in our surroundings. And whenever we find conflicting information, we lose confidence because now we don't have coherence anymore, and we need to take a position to form our opinions, our preferences, To a certain level, this is normal, this is healthy. The problem is when we start to identify ourselves with these opinions. We confuse these opinions with our own identity, and then we allow our ego, our attachment to these opinions, deepen the notion of who we are, define who we are, and then whenever these ideas are questioned, well, the normal thing to do is to feel attacked, and then we have to protect ourselves and attack back. Technology is very important for us to stay connected. Don't get me wrong. However, it is very important for us to be wise using this technology very well. It is not worth just having the potential of connection. We want to actually have good conversations, good interactions. A good conversation does not have a winner or a loser. You don't need to agree with everything that is said, or you need to fight or debate everything. A good conversation accepts that each person is different. Each one of us, we come from different experiences, perspectives, values, opinions. So we're not having some type of a championship, a tournament, a competition of ideas. No, it is not necessary that you win every debate. When you enter a conversation with this objective of winning an argument, everybody loses. A good conversation depends on the opening. So if we enter a conversation with a fixed opinion, without the intent, the true intent of understanding different perspectives, there is no opening. We're just there to convince the other person of our own perspective, and then we fail to hear. For a good conversation, we need to know how to listen. Are you truly listening? If you feel difficulty in listening, or if other people complain that you don't truly listen, what is happening there? It could be that it is difficult for you to stay concentrated in the present moment. To hear, it is necessary that you stay attentive and focused. Could it be that maybe you're judging what the other person said, and then you're analyzing whether they're right or wrong? Maybe you are evaluating if you like what the other person is saying. Maybe you are having trouble to agree or disagree with everything that is being said. Maybe you're looking for counter-arguments or exceptions to these ideas that are being presented to you. Are you comparing what is being said to your own experience? Do you start to imagine what would you do in that situation? What type of solution you have? What advice you have? All these mental activities, they start very inoffensively. They begin to snowball. They start in this relatively inoffensive way, but suddenly you're no longer listening to anything that is being said. You're just navigating your way through the jungle of thoughts you're having, and then you suddenly completely disconnected from the conversation that you should be having with the other person. You can disconnect so much to the point that you no longer want to have that person making noises anymore because they're interrupting your own thoughts. For a good conversation, it is necessary to be present. We are lacking the state of full attention, mindfulness, and this is the basis of discernment and consciousness. The problem is that we are steadily more accustomed to different types of distraction, and we have more and more difficulty focusing. A lot of the time we avoid giving initiative to true conversations because they take a lot of attention, and attention is a resource that is more and more scarce. When we are present in the now, we increase the respect for the interaction, you increase your self-respect, and therefore you also have more respect for the other person. For a good conversation, you need to be present. And for this, you need to know how to listen. And to listen, you need to control your pressure and your anxiety. For all this, you need to have control over your focus. Be honest with yourself. Are you realizing the importance of maintaining a high level of consciousness in your interactions with the people with whom you can have true quality conversations? How is the balance between the time that you truly converse with total presence and the moments in your life in which your focus is spread across multiple superficial interactions? When is that the last time that you had a truly good conversation with someone? If you are having problems to control your focus, I invite you to visit the link arata.se/focus course and complete the exercises that we have to increase your capacity for focus.